Right now, we're trying to see what do we have and how can we work together. Rest assured, everybody needs to be A-okay. You need to be, take a deep breath. We good. We're just trying to finish out this school year. But I've not made any decisions about any type of cuts or any type of who leaving and all that kind of stuff. We haven't even gotten to that. I'm trying to get the HR director up to speed. So before we can even talk any of that kind of stuff, right now we're trying to see what do we have and how can we work together. I'm bringing a different mindset to where the student is the customer. They don't have to come to your class because they said they're bored anyway. So now I'm fighting you to do something that you don't want to do. How many meetings you've been forced to go to that you don't want to go to? There's a lot of hypocrisy in our operations. We ask the kids to do some things that we don't want to do. I had kids tell me, the teachers told me, I got my degree, you get yours. And I thought it was a fluke till it happened in 4 or 5 buildings. Kids said that. But then the adults say that. And then central office kind of sounds like that. We're going to change that.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out what are those things our students are really passionate about.
We should have less students in the classroom because it's not fair for the kids that want to teach and want to learn to not be able to have the ability to pay attention because all the teacher is doing is telling the bad kids, oh, don't do this. He being a disciplinarian. And he's supposed to be being a teacher, but he can't do that because the kids don't know how to act.
You've had enough trauma.
Man.
Can I tell you?
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to get you. The most important measure in this entire district, and for me, is the instructional hour. Right? It is precious. It is how many instructional hours can I get into that child in this subject area. That will determine how successful that child will be. I'm dealing with attendance, I'm dealing with behavior, I'm dealing with tardies, I'm dealing with all this stuff, nonsense from the district and from the building. How do I isolate everything to get that hour, that time, that time that you have with that child is so precious and it needs to be maintained. First question, you're talking about community partnership.
Yeah.
And when the community says they want to help, we should say, okay. Or at least say, you can help in this context. Because we don't want everybody's help the way they want to give it. We want to receive the help the way we need it. And there's a difference. So I am committed to those community partners. One of the 5 commitments is together we are East Cleveland, right? And that means something because in this district, in my district, in our district, we're going to work together on these things. This matter that we're talking about of improving the education of an entire school system of children requires more than the people sitting in this room. We have to humble ourselves. We have to get that pride out of the way and say, look, you have access to materials, people, resources that can help my kids. I would like you to be a part of this. I want you at this table. Lower things is really for my staff. So if I can get them to understand that they are now responsible to do many of those things and support, then maybe the burden is not so great on the mentors. Because I hear it's taxing, it's time intensive. Because there's no assistance coming from the buildings following up on the things that the kids are learning. Do they also get it in the classrooms? We find out, we share the things that you're doing, and then we tell the staff, now I want you to do those things too, to everybody. Yeah, you get to work with the kids that are really moving in this direction. But those things that we're learning, we should then say, hey, teacher, we're going to train you, and then you're going to implement to everybody. Do it in advisory. Do it in a way that, I'm going to bring in Naviance, because in 6th grade, my kids need to start knowing and exploring careers. At K-5, there should be an awareness piece, where at kindergarten, one of my competencies is I'm going to teach you what it means to be late for work. What does it mean? What is work at kindergarten? Because I got people on my staff who still struggle with that. So if I systemically K-12 start building many of these things, by the time it's eligibility of the provost program, then their demand of you is going to be so much higher. And that's where I'm trying to get to, where the kids are asking for more. And then the parents will see the kids are asking, you're asking, we'll move this thing. And I appreciate deeply the service that you guys have done for so many years. You've carried the burden of what my school district should have been doing. I'm not discrediting the work. I thank you, I honor you, I bow to you. I bow to you today. But that's what it's about. We have to increase capacity. We have to do more. This community, the students that I'm serving, the needs are too great. And this feels like a pilot to me. That we keep rebooting every year. How do we scale it? Or what parts can we scale? Maybe we don't want to damage the integrity, because this program, keeping it small, preserves an integrity to it. And there's some outcomes in that. But are there some practices that we're doing that we can scale? And it doesn't require the full-term mentor to kind of baby that process. That can go into the schools, and we can still keep what we're doing and keep it the way we want it. Because that's why you're here, is the way it is. But there are some things we can do to expand.
You've said some very penetrating things here that I think I'd like to make sure we follow up.
We need to.
And so, Dr. Garrett, of course, can facilitate that. But the first is, of course, thinking about the scaling up and then taking off the pieces that you see of this partnership that you can then introduce to other members of your group.
Yeah.
And I think I'd be very interested in figuring out what that would look like, and how we could participate with that.
Absolutely.
The whole faculty piece, I think, and your staff piece is something we'd be interested in.
It's interesting.
Exploring. A second piece of this, and this is more for maybe even just thinking about, but we have a great program here. But I'm also wondering, should there be multiple provost scholars, or should this be also in Cleveland State? I mean, should we bring in other partners to kind of grow this thing? I just wonder about that.
Interesting.
We could have chapters of this thing.
We've had enough trauma.
Amen.
Can I tell you?
Amen. Yes.
That's what I'm trying to do.